though they've been fencing for many years, they're just still very much unclear about certain things.
At him and he shook my hand. I said, like, I'm never gonna watch this hand anymore in my life.
Have a game aspect to it: basketball, football, soccer, baseball, doesn't matter. And that's something that you cannot get from just fencing.
Italian style, French style, like post-Soviet Union style, let's say, right? US style, that was before, but now it's again post-Soviet.
Yeah, I was gonna say it. And there you go, and we're live. And we have officially started our podcast.
This is the first one, right?
This is the first
podcast. Yeah, this is online fencing game. So everyone, I just would like to announce that we just started this online fencing game. It's just not only podcast. It also will be an online course for all of you guys, whoever wants to improve in fencing, who wants to improve at your own skills. So there will be the first one. We're gonna announce the first course will be Learn to Train. The second one is coming up. It's gonna be Train to Train. Okay, guys. So it's gonna be Team Svidnytskiy and Yarik Ponamarenko will be teaching you guys very soon.
Yeah. And
but
the point, like, also, you know, I want to let people know that this podcast, I mean, it's not all about just us pushing the course. I mean, that's, you know, that's something we do. But at the same time, like, at least for me, that's why I have you here for this podcast, Yarik. And we'll talk later on who we are in a second. But
that's true.
I remember myself being like maybe a student, you know, before I became a coach. And I was always wishing scavenging YouTube or maybe even trying to, you know, ask questions. I just wish there'd be some people who have gone through fencing, maybe lifetime fencing, and they know what they're doing. They have answered some questions, you know. A lot of people, when though they've been fencing for many years, they're just still very much unclear about certain things. And maybe we're still unclear too, but we can always discuss certain things, you know.
Yeah, that's true. When I was young, I all the time was dreaming about, like, can we have this kind of stuff in YouTube, looking at the bouts, people who passing the knowledge to the young generation.
Exactly.
When I was young, I was looking at the fencers who was like extremely good, like Kolobkov. That was my, like, the biggest dream to meet this person. And once I met him, I went to a European Championship to Kazan and Russia. I met him and he shook my hand. I said, like, I'm never gonna watch this hand anymore in my life. Listen, I'm gonna stay forever with this dirty hand. So that was an incredible moment. So this guy, so he's incredibly good. His energy is like extremely good. I never met this kind of person who I can share my thoughts with, you know. That's what's really amazing stuff. Yeah.
So maybe, like, actually we'll take the time right now. Maybe we'll introduce. So you already introduced. So this is Yarik, Tim.
Yeah.
So Yarik, like the other day when you did Zoom with some of our students, we mentioned some of your accolades, and I wish I could repeat it. Just there's a bunch of medals. So Yarik, like, let people know a little bit, like, who you are, what you do.
I was a professional fencer before, right? So I've been coaching for like 7 years already, maybe eight years. I was a medalist of the World Championship, European Championships, and the World Cups, and so on. So
for épée.
For épée, yeah, definitely. But the main reason we're talking here in the Zoom, it's a coaching position. So I'm more proud now. I'm more proud to being a coach, to pass my knowledge, to develop my coaching skills, to improve.
Where do you coach now?
Excuse me. I'm working in a very great club, one of the best club in America. It's New York Fencing Academy. We guys are building really good people there. So we have some people who've been representing the United States for last 4 years at the World Championship.
Cadet and junior cadet.
Yeah.
I guess actually, certain Europe, not just the United States. You guys technically have one that occasionally represents French national team.
We have two people who represented Greek team at the European Championship last time. It's a Peter Kambisalis and Jack Kambisalis. So very nice, talented guys,
brothers.
Very good, very polite, very energetic, and very, very hard working people.
And also, And I guess that was just a little bit before you arrived, but from NYFA, like one of Misha's first clients is or
Yeah.
Romain,
Romain Canon. Yeah,
Ramon
everybody knows
Canone or
Romain
Canoni,
Canon.
whatever you say.
He's a
Well, hey
former
man, he's like
professional
what, like top
French.
8 in the senior men's ep in France, right? That's
Yeah, Misha did a great job with Romain Canon. He's incredibly good. He's besides that he's talented. Misha showed him the right direction. He put his in the track, and this person understood that time that he's gonna be good because like
yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah,
putting off the touch incredibly, extremely good, right? So
yeah.
yeah, that's really nice to see these people representing and with the world championships or let's say internationally. That's it's I don't know. It's for me it's heartbreaking when you see people like this fencing and the different kind of competition.
But you
That's
know what? Like it's impressive that maybe in the first podcast
Tell
this is
me, tell
good
me, tell me
to
honestly, what do you feel? What do you feel when Tad's fencing? Like, what do you feel inside, like a coach? Because he's a really good fencer. He's an Pan American Games champion, right? National champion. He's
yeah, yeah,
represented last time at the Worlds, Canada, right?
yeah. No, that was his third
Yeah,
time now.
I saw him. By the way, he's a French fencer, French grip fencer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess for those that don't know, I coach Toronto Fencing Club, so in Toronto, Canada.
Right behind, yeah.
Yeah, we'll start with that. So this is a little bit, international Zoom call. Thank God for 21st
Yeah,
century.
America, Canada. We are
Yeah,
close, but still too far, right?
yeah. Like as a fencer, I guess I don't have quite as many medals as Yarik does, especially world championships or
Come on.
whatever.
It's not about medals. I know a lot of people who has a lot of medals, but they sucks. Like being a person. Honestly, just stay a good person. Like the first of all, we are human being, and the rest is it's easy.
Yeah, but you know
It's
what?
hard
Like
work, and that's it.
I feel like I'm quite satisfied with my athletic performance. It's fencing is something that I was born into, as my dad is a coach, and
Yeah.
that even though I never got a chance to necessarily travel as much because of moving to Canada and stuff, but I feel that I got to a pretty decent level of fencing. It's just and still on a good day I might be able to fence, but I
Yeah,
think as a coach I've done a lot better.
yeah, that's true. Sometimes like I see people fencing in the gym, and then like, oh, maybe should I start fencing a little bit? Maybe should I start practice hard and just show them who's the boss in the gym? By the way, nobody beat me since I got to United States in the club, besides Alan Timiraev. Alan Timiraev is really nice and cool guy, and like he's extremely fast. When he was in the top, like I mean, in the prime, he
Yes.
beat me a few times, that's it. But yeah, sometimes I want to go back and start fancying a little bit, but who knows where this road is gonna take us, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Oh man, fencing, something interesting. But you guys in the United States now, right? You're having some problems with the
Oh yeah.
university and NCAA's.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. Some fencing programs in, for instance, in the last college, they have been
Stanford,
closed. The
right?
fencing front,
And
Stanford,
ground.
right? Stanford, they have been closed. They've been trying to close it, right? So I signed up a petition for having a fencing in this college, but there is a lot of people who signed up. More than 5,000 people already signed up, but who knows what's going to be. But it's definitely it's sad to all of us, to basically what the fencing is like in the United States. Everybody's dreaming to get to really the best colleges in the United States, right? So this is what they're dreaming about. It's
Yeah,
what they've been practicing for.
that's basically right. That's the how industry is booming in essentially in US. Is that the main goal for most kids coming in
What
is
do you
the
think? What is
college
the reason?
entry.
What is the reason of closing the fencing program in this kind of?
I don't understand this earlier. Those universities clearly seem to have a lot of money, especially now that people say that they're like one of the richest universities. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
besides that, this is coronavirus is like tying our hands, like
Yeah,
as
no.
coaches uh, who wants to improve the student skills and so on. It's
So
tough period. Like
so what
how
are
can
some
we
of the like measures and limitations do you guys have now in New York? So like what is the current state for you guys? Are you allowed to practice? What is the situation?
basically we following the state. So what they said, like we have to measure temperature before they got to the gym. This is the first what we do. Everyone have to wear a mask. I
Mm-hmm.
know it's tough, when you do the activity, you gotta sweat, especially during the summer. It's over 100 degree outside, so that's very, very tough. Besides that, as I mentioned earlier, mask, temperature, 6 feet apart, but we can fence.
Mm-hmm.
We are fencing, so the state allowed us to do a camp.
Okay, okay.
So we have a camp in the
And you guys
morning.
permitted to actually fence. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been doing camps since since June 2029, June
Mm-hmm,
29.
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, no, we're not quite in the same situation. Although actually today there was an announcement from our province, that's kind of like the state, is that Toronto is finally maybe allowed to move into the next phase where we may be allowed to see some return to the normal life. We've been allowed to train, but we're not allowed
yeah,
to have combative training during this whole time. And of course, the same thing, we must have masks on and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah, that's true. It's if someone have been exposed, this is the huge problem to all of us.
Yeah,
If one of us gonna be exposed, we have to shut down the club. This is
yeah.
the reason we have to be careful with this, and we have to follow the guides. It's
But I
tough.
mean, overall, like I'm not a big fan of it, obviously. But like fencing with a mask on, or
Yeah,
actually, I was thinking maybe I was experimenting with things like you can buy a see-through like paper and you can tape it onto the mask like a shield. It's not
yeah.
so bad actually.
You can check this site, Absolute Fencing. There is a special fencing mask. They offer the special fencing mask under the mask, so it's tiny. It's
Yeah.
tiny. It's really light, and you
Okay.
can breathe in and breathe out easily. So like 50% of our members have it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's cool. Thank you to Absolute Fencing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's awesome. So now
that's
you
us. Yeah.
you
But
said like
but
you
what do
got.
you think as a coach? As a coach, how you see what do you see? What direction? Like how can you improve with the student during this COVID situation?
Oh,
What
how can you improve? No, that improving is like you can definitely improve. I think the biggest issue, at least for us, that I've been experiencing, is the uncertainty of why we're doing this, right? So, like, so for us, it's a little bit different situation than for you guys out there because we don't have like college or university scholarships, right, to begin
uh,
with. So, like, basically the majority of the people that are training here, they're training for the pure aspect essentially of because they want to compete and they want to be good at something. Like it doesn't give you a whole lot to necessarily train. Some kids though, like they have the aspirations of going to
but
US colleges.
anyway, they can go to United States colleges. So like your team, your student did, right?
Yes.
Yale, and Zazula also went to Yale. So yeah, why not?
No, no. So for sure, like yeah, like Ted for sure, right? He's going to Yale.
Yeah, he's
But
going to
that's
Yale. It's
that's
beautiful.
the
Right.
minority, to be honest. Like so for the most kids, if they are like they're Canadian citizens, for example, then like it's not a huge deal because also our colleges, university is significantly cheaper, right? Significantly cheaper
In, in in your country, right? In
in
Canada.
Canada, yeah. like we're talking about 10 times cheaper than in US per
So
year.
do you suggest to United States or let's say around the world fencing students like to apply for Canadian colleges? Is it good education there?
No, education
If it's
obviously,
so cheap, you said.
yeah, no, education obviously is some of the best in the world. It's on par
Yeah.
with US and Britain
I
and like,
wish I wish I go back in time, once in
yeah,
a while.
but it doesn't work quite like for international students, it still costs an arm and a leg, like,
Yeah.
right? So like when I was a kid, a
Approximately,
student,
how much is it?
so I can say what it was like when I was a student, which was what we're looking like 10 years ago, right? I
Okay.
was paying when my first year university, my tuition and like living on campus and everything came up to about like $13,500
A year,
a
right?
year. Yeah, yeah. But like
Okay.
next year, I even did it cheaper because we moved off campus. We rented a house with a bunch of guys. We just there was 7 of us living and having a good time, and it was actually a lot cheaper. But
Definitely.
look, we all graduated and we did great. We all graduated with honors. We're hey, no, 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 and we were good athletes.
Wow. Besides everything, besides the parties at the campus, right? You were the best student in the college, right?
We were okay. We
And
were okay.
everybody should know the team. He was an NCAA champion in basketball besides fencing. You see, guys. Yeah?
In Canada, so
Canada,
it's
Canada,
called
yeah.
CIS actually in Canada
CIS.
because it's
Oh,
Canadian
yeah. Oh,
Inter-University.
sorry. Yeah.
But yeah,
It's the same, but different region, right? Okay.
something
Nice.
like that,
That's
yeah.
really cool. Really.
But yeah, so like you were saying, how can
Yeah. How we can
about the
improve?
students and like, so the biggest issue is like, okay, so those kids that are here want to train, so they go to competitions, improve. Like, there's no competition coming up. So today, actually, Canadian Fencing Federation just sent us a newsletter saying how they just had a meeting like yesterday where they have agreed that there will be no competition in 2020. So
No
that's it.
competition in 2020.
That's it. So
I
I,
have I have read an article in the U.S. fencing. We have a North American Cup in October in
well, so
Kansas.
Canadians are not going to be a part of it,
Okay, got it.
right?
But
So
I'm really first of all I'm excited, of course, but I'm so curious, like how it's gonna be, how it's gonna be. Listen, it's more than 400 people at the same time in one facility. I'm not talking about parents. I'm not talking about referee, about committee, and so on.
catering, food,
Yeah, that's true.
janitors, like security. Now you were talking about you need to bring more people, more security. Like it's
I'm thinking my thoughts about it. So I think it's gonna be one weapon at a day. Like so, happy one a day. Like
don't
I don't
forget
know.
it's fencing. We don't have golf or tennis money here. How unless they're gonna rent to the basement of the church and just do one bout.
Oh, come on.
Well, come
Maybe
on. Why do you need a whole
50%.
convention center then if you're gonna do
Yeah,
one bout, one weapon for what? For flight?
yeah. And listen, there are usually how many strips we have like around 60, 70 approximately, right?
Yeah, I would say
So
60
I think they're gonna cut it. I think they're gonna cut it
and
definitely.
space it out, right?
Yeah, that's true, and it's gonna be flight event.
Well, and look, so for sure, and they're gonna be less people. They're not gonna do probably any like veteran fencing or anything like that. I bet that I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know. Like it's
They
that's
want
what the committees for all the countries, all the like sport governing bodies. That's what they're doing right now. They're sitting down discussing, and nobody really knows what the best way to go about things. And that's what I was saying is that with the students, they don't know what they're training for right now. At least you guys, they're students, they're concerned about
that's the
they want to
good.
go to colleges.
This is the good point. What are you talking about? A lot of students have been losing motivation because they have nothing to train for.
Exactly.
I'm as a coach, I'm have to motivate my student to train more and train with the being hard work, let's say, right? But in the other hand, my student, oh, Yarik, why? Listen, there is no competition. Why I have to train? Listen, let have some fun. And my position is the opposite. And I'm trying to jump from one side to another side, and I'm trying to find the middle way just to convince my students to do at least the medium load.
Yeah. So you know what I've been doing is that like for the for some parts we've been trying to do some training, and it's exactly like we're losing some motivation. And what I said, because as you mentioned, okay, so I played basketball, right? It just so
Yeah,
happened when we from Ukraine, I came to Canada. There was no fencing near me; it wasn't available. I just started playing basketball, and I cannot stress enough. Like I, just like yourself, I am a professional athlete, and like I'm gonna be a professional in athletics. I'll say that.
yeah,
And what I've noticed is that basketball as a fencer gave me so much. There's a lot to be said about something called physical literacy. And that's something that like I'm very huge with my kids on. And like, so good example, last summer, right? We were together running,
yeah,
helping
yeah,
Misha
yeah,
at
yeah.
NYFA camp, right? And we had what? We had the technical practice in the morning. In the evening, in the middle practice, we would have that games practice, right? So this we have 100 somewhat fencing kids. And it's honestly, to me, it's very sometimes sad to go when we say, okay, let's go play soccer, or let's go play basketball, or let's go play, I don't know, frisbee. And it's almost, these kids can't even enjoy playing those games because they're just completely not very prepared. They can't even play those games. Like you ask them to play soccer, they're either afraid of the ball or it bounces off them. You play frisbee, they can't make a throw. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a lot of it just not very much physically developed or physically literate people. And that's where I focus on right now. So right now, when my kids come in, while it's summer, we go outside right away. I taught all of my kids how to throw a football. You know, nobody knows. This is funny, right? A lot of kids don't know just how to throw a football. And I taught some kids how to, try to shoot a jump shot, stuff like that. And I feel like as a coach, and I'll ask you something in a second too.
Yeah.
Uh, a fencer should not always be so rigid and follow the rules. Okay, so coach said I gotta know half step, feint, disengage.
That's true.
You have to be playful. And every sport, a lot of sports, they have a game aspect to it. Basketball, football, soccer, baseball, doesn't matter. And that's something that you cannot get from just fencing.
You're right, 100%. So that's what I've been practicing with my students in the gym. So I'm not putting them in the cage, of thoughts. I'm not putting them in the cage. I'm trying to tell them that they have to use their imagination all the time, use their creativity.
But they can't.
Whenever,
They've never done anything besides. That's the thing. They've been doing so zoomed in 5 lessons a week, fencing. They do nothing else.
yeah, that's true. But I'm trying to, like, whenever we do some footwork, I say like the half step contra attack or half step parry pause. You have to make differently all the time. Preparation, deep, soft, short, sharp, whatever they want, but it has to be all the time different. Or whenever coach said you have to do like I'm saying it, this is not a good way for me because you put the student in the cage. So whenever he's going to be fencing in the competition,
Yeah.
he's going to be looking around and
Where
he
is the
will
coach?
be searching for a
What's the
coach.
next
Where's my coach?
instruction?
What is my next instruction, really?
Yeah.
And then he's going to lose the bout. And who's going to be that fault? This is going to be definitely the coach's fault.
Yeah, no, for
And then
sure.
that's true. And then I can blame the coach in this case.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Now that you've been professionally coaching for 8+ years or whatever. So like imagine, let's draw a canvas. You have an empty canvas. Explain to you, what is the best epee? So if you get a student and this student, he's capable of working out and do every instruction that you give them, right? How a fencer in your mind, a perfect epee fencer will look like? What do they have in them?
Perfect fencer, how they look like.
Like,
Like
what's your ideal that you're trying to coach your students towards to, right?
First of all, what I'm looking the coordinative skills. This is the first one I'm looking at. I don't care about how tall is this guy, how strong, how like I'm not looking at this abilities. I'm looking at the coordinative skills. I can throw the ball. How can catch the ball? There is the easy way to check coordinative skills. Whenever you finish your lesson with the student, he has to take mask with the left hand, only one hand, and put it under
That's right. That's right.
underarm right here.
Without
If
fumbling
he's
it.
gonna do it from the first time. This is your student. Get this student,
It's true, right?
grab it,
The
and don't
simplest
let
stuff.
him go away.
That's
Trust
right.
me, this guy or this girl is gonna be definitely
It's true.
perfect fencer.
It does say a lot. Like if you don't know the person, you give them one clear instruction and they're able on the first try execute. It could be even something like, just a disengage, hit straight. But on the first, they hear it, they see it, they do it. You're like, okay, this kid or this girl, like you said, could be very much capable. Okay,
Yeah,
so you see a very coordinated person.
yeah.
Were you coaching coordination? What else you see in your fencer? So like when you like what I'm trying to get at is like
I'm
you coach in certain style, right? You coach in
besides
certain.
coordination. I'm looking for that person who will be keeping conversation with me, who will be asking me, who will be putting some
Inquisitive.
efforts in conversations. That person has to be well known. I mean, he has to know better than the other kids. Why, where, how, and so on. There is a lot of questions, but this kid's supposed to ask me. They shouldn't be that quiet. I'm not that person who's gonna be rough at them, who's gonna be showing the tough skills. No, I'm that person who trying to understand the person, who trying to pass the knowledge. So please don't be shy with me and try to ask me every time. Besides the coordinative skills that you mentioned earlier, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? To like in terms of other things, like for example, me as a coach, like I try to at least explain or instill certain things. So if we're talking about like ideal epifence, right? I would like in all of them, I want to instill like confidence, right? So because a lot of even bad technically executed hits, but if you have crazy confidence, can really overcome. So for you guys, Alan Timiryaev is a perfect example of that. He could be in a bad situation in his prime. I'm sorry, Alan, if you're watching this, don't go home crying. But in your prime, you passed your prime. That's it, Alan. I'll say he was
But
able to score
still,
hits that were not
but
technically
you know
correct.
what? That maybe he passed his prime, but he's still trying to climb up.
Okay. Oh, I'm happy to hear
Like
that. I'm happy to hear that.
he's motivated right now. He's motivated right now. He's looking forward.
Okay, I haven't seen him
Dream.
in a while.
Yeah. I support this guy. He's a good guy. I do whatever it takes, like just to bring him back to life.
That's awesome. Right.
Yeah.
So I also try to explain to them the importance of like being actively patient on a strip, right? So like especially like certain concept like maintaining the lead. A lot of fencers tend to lose it. They get an early lead, they're very excited, and then they start to, because they got a lead, for example, by doing a couple of flashes, they may try to continue doing the same thing, and then it could actually go in the wrong direction. So like actively patient, stuff like that. That's what I was talking about when I was asking you for ideal fencer. Like, what are some tactical aspects that you try to instill into your fencers?
Depends what level.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Level of the fencer.
so that's exactly what I was trying to start with. You have ideal kid, you have an empty kid, you have with him 10 years. What arsenal will your student will have in 10 years?
10 years, he'll know everything. In 10 years, he will know everything in 3 years, probably. It depends how hard he's going to be working with me. That's it. But definitely the first thing what I've been trying to put in this guy is going to be, of course, simple touches. Then it's going to be a short combination. Then I will explain him when he should start the attack, when he should start his preparation, when it's better time to do a counter attack, tactic stuff. When you're leading, what do you have to do? When you're down, what do you have to do? And so on. This is not it's not a practice of the first year. The first year we have to more concentrate at learning teaching the first step, scoring touches, only touches, no parries, nothing, like just simple things like when definitely when distance, then execution.
Mm-hmm. That's cool,
That's the
man.
big
No,
point.
that's what, like I was just saying, is that
Because
sometimes
everyone like I saw different coaches from around the world, and I saw like for like not the first, like third or fifth lesson, and they already parry 4, parry 6, parry 1. There is like people are doing some crazy stuff, and what? Come on, what are you talking about? Person cannot even hit straight, and you're taking parry 1. What is the point of fifth lesson? Yeah, you want to show cinematic fencing or what?
Yeah, well, that's just it, right? There's some people out there that trying to wow the parents. Not they don't even care about the student. They just make sure, oh, that looks fun, and we're gonna keep paying them money. That's the thing. That's
But
that happens in our
we
industry a
don't
lot.
need to impress the parents. Uh, the main thing, we are the coaches. We have to teach kids to be better fencer than the other kids. But anyway,
Better
everyone,
people too, right?
of course, we're passing not only fencing knowledge, we're passing our experience, life experience.
It's very true, very true.
Yeah, that's who we are. This is the coach, mentor. This is, you can call us like how you want.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, when good coaching is universal. That's what I want. Oh, there it goes. You know,
Yeah.
good coaching. So every country, not every country, but there's definitely different styles of fencing in different parts of the world, right? Like Italian fence usually with their arm a little down, protecting through the fore. We
I like
have.
I like the,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
continue. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was
I, I
saying,
like uh I like looking at the people with a different style, different fencer, like Italian style, French style, like post-Soviet Union style, let's say, right? US style, that was before, but now it's again post-Soviet
yeah, I was
Union.
gonna say it's
style.
another again
Yeah,
post-Soviet.
yeah, that's true. So I like to look at this, but I think we should talk about next time. We should talk about developing senior fencing in the United States and Canada, because a lot of people goes to colleges after they done with the
Yeah, for
fence.
sure, for sure. We can.
Yeah,
Me having actually gone through like Canadian
yeah.
post-secondary education, I can actually
Me
share
too. Me too.
experience.
I have some experience about it, so I can
Right?
share.
No, for sure. And last thing, I guess, let's leave
Yeah.
whoever gonna decide to listen to our first podcast. Like, so right now, whether it's quarantine, because for us in Canada it's quarantine. For you guys, it's even though you guys are open, but it's limited anyways. What are some of the things that maybe students and kids should be doing right now to help themselves with training? What should be looking to do? What do you think?
Uh, Definitely, they have to stay in shape physically, some footwork. It has to be daily routine, definitely. Like, first of all, it's a discipline. Second of all, they're gonna keep themselves in shape. Third of all, their mind's gonna be all about fencing. So that's what they have to be concentrated at, definitely. But sooner or later, this situation is gonna be, it's gonna be the end soon. So, but we have to look forward and keep our nose on top,
No,
and
for
everything
sure.
will be fine.
One thing also though,
We're
like
gonna go through this. Don't worry about it. Yeah,
I found that something that helps is kind of what we just did, is that during quarantine, okay, we might be training, but I would challenge everybody, watch, one fencing bout a day. But actually seriously, sit down, watch 15 points of good bout and just take a look. You know, I believe that if after watching 10 or maybe 15 bouts, you're gonna start noticing how there's a lot of similar tactics, how there's a lot of similar situations, and how the best fencers, they keep doing the same things over
you
and
just
over
pick
again.
the right moment. You have to pick the right moment. That's it.
And I think that's going to give a lot of fencers a lot of
Advantage.
confidence.
Yeah, and confidence. That's true. That's true, team. So that was really helpful information to all of us. I think that we started this podcast. I believe we're going to be continuing every week. So I hope we will have more people who will be looking at us, and who will be understanding our thoughts and minds. So
Yeah, for sure. If
will
you
help.
guys, if anybody, even if there's two of you that's listening,
Yeah.
for now, send us a question,
Anyway,
a comment. We'll do our best to address. Also, Yarik, I'll do like a little small plug. I have a little small YouTube channel as well, where I'll put like a little announcement of this podcast, and the full podcast will be on Online Fencing Games YouTube channel.
Cool.
But I want to say that, if you ever want to watch some lessons, I have some posted on my YouTube channel. And then
Cool.
I think
Definitely.
when the quarantine is lifted, Yarik and I are gonna get together, maybe film something as well together. That'd be pretty exciting. So what? The plan is for what, Yarik? We're gonna try to get together once a week to do this. Is that kind of what we're gonna
once
do?
a week. Once a week. We'll try to put some content for you guys once a week.
Yeah, so for sure. Our goal here, honestly, I mean, beyond anything else, obviously nobody knows if anything will work out, but we just want to help you guys. I think that's really
that's true.
We get nothing really out of it at the moment, and may never get anything.
Yeah, if someone have a questions, you just type it below, and we'll try to answer next time on these questions.
Yeah, and then we might even consider a guest one day. Why not?
That's true.
If you have an interesting story, maybe we can get some university coaches actually here. Maybe we can get.
Cool. We will invite a lot of people in this podcast, but
now Yarik says there's gonna be a lot of people. I just said maybe. Now there's gonna be a lot of people. I love it. All right, Yarik and people.
Thank you
okay, so I love everybody, and I will.